Hell yeah, my friend. It's an honor to have you for the first time on our Quebec radio show, Prescription Punk Rock. Maybe for people that don't recognize your beautiful face or your beautiful hair or beautiful voice, who the hell are you, man?
I'm Ross, and I sing in a project called Dead on a Sunday from the United States in Denver, Colorado.
And you have some backup with you. Your dog is there. Hello, buddy.
You can see the dog. There's actually two other dogs down here, so there's a whole gang of dogs right here.
Hello,
They
guys.
yeah, we're in my studio. If you could see this direction, there's like studio gear, so they're kind of my co-producers.
That's awesome, man. If I don't ask the right questions, they're gonna bite me. So, welcome for first time. Maybe for people that unaware in Quebec of that project, how that crazy idea started up.
The Dead on a Sunday thing kind of started in spring of 2021, and it was really just me just seeing if I could sing on some songs because I've been producing music for a long time, and I've been in a lot of projects as like as a guitarist and a songwriter, and then as a like as a producer DJ, and then I kind of got reinterested in like rock music again. Was really into it in my youth, and I was kind of like, man, I always sort of wanted to be like a rock vocalist, and I want to see what it would be like if I tried doing that, and that's sort of how it got started.
It's cool because people have to have to be aware of what you did before because rock always been a part of your life. But like you said, you play part in other style too. So you have a different vision when it came to music. And maybe that's why it's so interesting with that project. But I want to get back when you were kids. How did you start discovering music? How music came to your life? And is there anybody around you that influenced you? Parents, friends?
Sure, yeah. My parents listened to music, and my mother in particularly, and she would listen to a lot of 80s type music like Duran Duran and Michael Jackson and stuff like that. So I think I got into it just kind of through hearing those things as a kid. And I took up an interest in playing music at a really young age. I got interested in a band called Def Leppard when I was a kid. Yeah. And their guitar stuff sounded really cool. And I got really interested in like playing guitar. So, like begged my dad to, rent me a guitar and get me lessons. And, that didn't go so well when I was a kid. I had a hard time like focusing on, lessons are really, they're just really boring, like you're teaching a kid, like they're trying to, they start with the wrong things. They don't get in there and teach you like a song. They kind of get in there and teach you like some theory, and then they give you all these finger exercises. And so it took me a lot longer to get into guitar. I kind of strayed away from it because it was boring. And I sort of came back to it maybe later in life when I was more in high school. I got a bass guitar and sort of got interested in learning and sort of started learning how to play instruments just on my own, not with any type of instruction. And that was a lot more fun for me because it was exploratory, and the possibilities seemed endless. So
And you're right. It's such an interesting point because I have guitar lesson too, and when you're kids, you have a lot of imagination, and you see those rock stars, so you think that you're in rock camp and everybody's gonna fucking rock. And when you go there, it's actually like Karate Kid, when you show him like the tricks with the stick, and you're like, man, I want to kick some ass. Where's the fucking and then when you get older you learn and you understand that it takes discipline and patience, and you have to be through you have to go there to progress and everything, but still they can make it maybe more fun for little kids because you're not the only one who thought it was really boring.
yeah, I think I understand what they're doing. They're trying to like teach you good habits and technique up front so you don't develop bad habits. And I realized that later in life that stuff became really important. It's kind of like learning to sing. Like you wanna just rip right away as a rock singer, but if you don't have good singing habits, then you just trash your voice, you know?
Yeah, and it happened to a lot of musicians, and then you learn, and and it's hard to destroy something that you did bad and make it positive instead of starting in the good way. It's like driving. We all, with time have bad habits, but at first they show us what to do. And anyway, but it's great because I get it, and I felt that you were very open mind when it came to music. And again, that's what interesting. And I'm 42. Maybe people at my age are more into nostalgia, but I'm more into something that challenge me and something different. And when I hear your music, I felt, oh, that guy creates something that don't follow a typical directions. Was it something that came naturally, or it's something that you force yourself into doing it?
Yeah, I think that just the style, and I realized that the style of this project, it leans a little more, I call it goth adjacent because it's kind of in that darker, and I'm more of a baritone singer. So I have a wide range, so I can do a lot of low stuff. So I realized it leans a little more goth, but I think that it's just like an amalgamation, a cornucopia of things that I've been influenced and interested in because I don't really prescribe to musical genres. I just like good songs that make you feel something. And I don't care if it's country or jazz or heavy metal or what. I just like songs that have emotion and purpose and meanings.
Yeah, and I think that music is kind of a living thing. And back in the days when I was kid, people dress, the way what you were listening to. You can easily figure out what the typical people were into in musically because the clothes and the music
Mhm.
were a lifestyle. But not for me, like you. I love good songs. I love pop. I love metal. I love reggae, whatever. I don't really care. I think when a song is good, it doesn't really matter the style. It came from the heart. And yeah, you're right. It's a living thing and it's a feeling. You don't have to be like the best out there. You just have to have the desire and the passion to do something.
That's right. All you need is three chords and the truth, they say.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and a little bit of wanted to push yourself too, because after three chords, you know.
Yeah, I feel like what drives me to make music is my interest in sounds and styles and progressions and things that push my comfort zone. When I start to get comfortable in something and the routine becomes too familiar, I get really bored and I just don't feel like there's a reason for me to create under in those circumstances. I think that we create things is just like it's like asking questions.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. And I think the most interesting musician are the one that are really open mind and don't leave door closed, and that, like you said, are willing to get out of that comfortable zone. And I think that's when music got interesting because you challenge yourself. And I don't mean that it need a huge, a struggle to create something, but I think it had to be kind of a challenge. It had to be not easy, but you have to put something hard in that.
Yeah, that's what keeps people interested is challenges. And yeah, I never write songs that I guess when I write songs, it's never a struggle. I'm very like flow of consciousness type of songwriter. So I just kind of jam and get ideas. But once you have outlined a good idea, that's when the struggle comes in. Like that's when the work comes in to make it this like living, breathing thing that translates across the board to people.
Yeah, it's like a
Mhm.
puzzle, I think. People have a hard time figuring out. They think like band jam and the song is create, but it's kind of a puzzle. It's a riff, it's some words, and you put that together, and sometimes it's a chaos, and then at the end the result is amazing.
Yeah, it's just ideas and then figuring out how to get ideas into other ideas. Like I've been working on this new song that I had it one I'm really excited about it and it breaks a lot of rules. It's got a banjo in it, it's got a violin in it, it's got like metal in it. And I had it one way and then I sent it to a friend of mine and he sent me back an idea he had like what if the chorus did this thing and it changed my whole perspective and now I've spent like days trying to not trying, but figuring out how to make these two ideas sort of like mesh, you know?
Yeah, and you
Mhm.
know, a lot of musicians ask me about their songs and what you think about that, and I'm not a musician. Why you ask? And I said because you're not a musician. I want somebody that enjoy listen music and know that and what you think about that. And sometimes it took the ID because oh I didn't see that angle, and sometimes you need somebody to see differently what you create because you're so stuck in it. It's like creating a movie. Sometimes there's a bottle there, and sometimes the bottle is there. Nobody see it because you're so into it.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, it's hard to see the forest from the trees, they say. But yeah, you know, as an artist, you can kind of hyper focus on certain things, or I might love some song for silly reasons, and you know, I might be attached to it and think that's my best song for whatever reasons, and everyone else will tend to disagree with that. So
We had the pandemic. That project was kind of born during that time. How do you think that the music scene changed? How the pandemic was a game changer?
I think that it made a lot of artists aware. You know, I had a lot of artist friends that kind of lost their gigs during that time. A lot got dropped from their labels, dropped from their booking agents, and I think it made artists more aware of just independence. And you know, this project is an independent project. There's no manager, there's no record label, there's no producers. It's just me in this room, and I think that is I think that's important in what artists are going to do and how artists can maintain moving forward in like this sort of new music industry that's happening right now as you know record labels have become and radio has become you know more and more irrelevant and just independence is more important than ever and there's so many artists and there's so many people doing things and there's so many avenues of exposure that don't even cost any money. You know, it's a lot of chance, it's a lot of luck, it's a lot of timing. Um, but you know, at the same time, it's possible. You don't need this big budget and this big team and all this crazy stuff anymore um, to push a project. You know, this project was pushed by myself on TikTok through just like I said, just kind of luck and chance and humor. So
Yeah, if you have the good songs and you push yourself, it's a huge playground right now. And the thing is, I think what pandemic has bring is the kid. You know, a lot of kid were 17, 16, or 18 when it hits, and 2 years later, the last 2 years of their life where it's so important. So they play, they start doing music, and those kids right now are conquering the world. And when you go to show, there's younger people and for many years, like people like me were like, oh no, there's no new wave of band or metal gonna die or rock gonna die or punk gonna die. But it's not true. It's just, it's gonna be different. It's different when I see the chat or Amy and the Sniffer or Australia have something right now. And yeah, they're blowing the world and they do it like garage way. It's really garage rock, but the energy is there. So definitely, I think we're in a new world, like you said, where you don't need the structure of back in the days. But I think Nirvana have proved that you can be a garage band and blow the world. It's just that at that time you didn't have the studio. You have to go in a studio, pay time, and now the studio is on your living room. You can build something with the technology, and like you said, and like you do, like do something DIY and be more, way more prouder and have, you know, less people whining about that and the label saying, oh no, we don't like the song. You have to cut that and do that and cut your hair. And it doesn't matter anymore. So it's going to be, I
no.
think, more pure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be said about truth in art, and I'm not interested in creating. I don't want this to be a product. You know, I don't want to like product like package art. You know, it's the art becomes the art eventually does become the product, but it's through the truth of it and the feeling that it gives people. And yeah, I've just never been interested in the whole like building a product and yeah cut your hair, look like this, do that. I just do what I like, man, you know?
Yeah. So no kiss
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And no artificial intelligence. I thought we got rid of them, but no, they're gonna be back.
Yeah, that stuff's very interesting, and it's, it's scary at the same time. I know that a lot of like platforms like Spotify are trying to use ways to detect AI, so they don't push songs that are made by AI, but at the same time I feel like it's inevitable that AI will eventually take over our jobs as creatives in a lot of aspects, and that's just the evolution or de-evolution of mankind, I guess.
Yeah, but like, when it's too well produced, it's not good at some point for me, because music is like that germ that you find in that pile of dirt or shit, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
gem there, and that is good. The first Iron Maiden record was not sounding perfectly.
No.
You can hear like Steve Harris be shredding a lot, but that's what make it so interesting and good. It make it human. So I think at some point it's gonna
Correct.
be easy to see what's human and not, because the art, you cannot take that off the process of creating, and I think that's the magic in music. That's the heart and the soul we pull into creating.
Sure. Yeah, that human connection is important, and I think people do hear that through the art. And yeah, back to things not being perfect. And yeah, I can hear when a song sounds like overproduced or overcorrected. And yeah, I don't really like that either. It feels sterile. It feels
Yeah.
disingenuine. My records have a lot of mistakes on them. There's a lot of loose playing and singing that's a little pitchy, and vocals that are a little out of time maybe, but I leave it alone on purpose because I feel like the more I try to get surgical with it, I just lose something.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't want to do interview with EI artists.
Yeah, yeah,
Like doing an
exactly.
interview with a computers. No,
Yeah.
but you're right. It's interesting that what you said. I think, yeah, we're all human and it's normal. People don't see those mistakes. Normal people that are not producer or really into music, they don't see those mistakes. So and I see a lot of artists after a show like, we screwed up that song, and no, people didn't realize it at all, and they have a couple of drinks, so they just have fun, man. You just have to be yourself and have fun, and I think it's working. People, that's what they want to see, somebody that having the time of his life, and they're gonna try to recreate that energy in the crowd and give it to you.
Sure, yeah. And back on the it's the worst show I've done, and people didn't mind it. I've had nights where I'm up there and I'm just like, this is the worst I've ever sang in my life. Like we played this show in New York, and it was our first time there, and my in-ear monitors went out. So we don't use stage monitors, we have in-ears. So there's no vocals I can hear. There's no vocals coming to the monitors. I can't hear through the in-ears. So I'm trying to get the sound guy's attention to get some stuff on. So I kind of had to stand out and try to listen through the mains, the big speakers. And I sing the whole set that way. And I got off stage. I was like, none of those people are ever coming back to see this band. This is the worst show I've ever done. And our sound guy came and was like, that's the best show that you've sang on this whole tour. That's the best you've sounded. And then I saw a video of it and I was like, wow, that's actually the best I have probably been like pitch wise at a show. And it just goes to show like I don't even know, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of surviving. Your brain switched to the surviving mode, but it was so fast that the rest of the brain couldn't make it out. So when you leave, you were like, "Oh, we just did the word show," but actually you were fucking in tone because you did it so much that the brain shift and you survive. And it's really interesting. I love that. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
story.
I think that's what it came down to was there's this thing I've been doing these vocal lessons with this Melissa Cross woman, and she's done all these big rock singers. And her whole thing is the second that you start to think about how it feels to sing this note, or you start to listen to the note in yourself, is when you screw it up. It's all just trusting the flow of the system, of your body system, and the confidence, and just your body knows where those notes are and how it feels once you've done it so much. And as soon as you start to pay attention to it or listen to it, it's like this little hiccup, and that's when you go flat or sharp or you miss cues. And it's an interesting theory, but I think that it's true.
Yeah, when you
Mhm.
drive a car, you don't think or you
No,
just do it. And
yeah.
when you start thinking, sometimes it's there when you do an accident because
Yeah, people that are like overly cautious when they drive, like, they usually cause accidents because they're thinking too much about all the things as opposed to just going with the flow, like the flow of traffic.
and you're right. I love the word flow. I think I don't surf, but it's like surf. There's no perfect wave. You catch what it's there and you go with, what you have. And that's when you have a good ride. So I think that with music, it's the same. You don't have to force yourself, like you mentioned. You just have to let the flow go. And I think with what you create in the music, I think that's why it's so fun to listen because you let the flow go and you didn't try to force something that will not happen.
That's what they say about surfing, because I surf a little bit, and that's you spend all this time on the shore practicing jumping up on that board and doing that thing. And the reason why there's all that practice is because when you're in the ocean, the moment the right wave comes that you're going to ride, it is just flow. You don't have to think about it anymore. You can just ride the wave. You don't have to think about all the things that go into riding the wave. You're just ready to ride the wave.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Mhm.
into that zone. I snowboard here in Quebec. We have so
Nice.
much snow, and yeah, it's not a wave, but yeah, when you go with the flow, and it's the same. It's. I always said that's the sport that I feel the more alive because yeah, you're in that zone where you're with yourself and you don't overthink. You just let everything go, and you don't think at all, and it's and I love that feeling. I'm curious, how's going to be the 2024 for that on a Sunday? You mentioned working on new songs.
Yeah. So I have an album, and it's 96% of the way done. I'm just finishing the last song, and it's called Cold Red Sea, and it will likely come out sometime in late April or May. Um, it's gonna be about 14 songs, and it's definitely some of my personal favorite stuff. I feel like pushed a lot of boundaries on this one. I feel good about it. So we're gonna tour in support of that. So we will tour a little bit across seas and Europe, and then and then back here in the States, we're gonna do a whole US tour in support of this album.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it and come to Canada. We love you. I mean, Quebec is the fortress and people love the music. I've been playing you guys and yeah, it would be rad.
Great. Yeah, I would love to get up to Canada. Yeah, it's I've had a lot of people asking for us to go there, and I feel like it's probably coming soon. So
Yeah, yeah, and Europe is like the thing I said. I get banned going to Europe because like when you do like the road there, there's kind of you can make a little money and everything, and the distance between city, it's not like Canada or the U.S. when you have to drive 9 hours. Like mostly like European are like what? Yeah, 9, 10 hours.
yeah, it's crazy. We've done some long hauls, just wake up, get in a van, drive 10 hours straight to the venue to do sound check and play and just do it again. That's a lot of touring, especially in like the western, or central US.
Of course, what's the best way we invite people to encourage you? What's the best way to buy merch if people have music budget?
Yeah, I mean, buy the merch at the shows or on the internet. We run all of our own merch. I pack my own orders. There's not like some weird middleman in there with their fingers in it. So but yeah, merch is what keeps that's what keeps touring bands alive for sure, is being able to sell the merch to the people, because we don't make a ton of money on the ticket sales or the shows, after the doors split, and you got to pay everybody, and there's not a lot there. So bands definitely need to buy their shirts. Every time I go to a show, I buy a shirt or a vinyl or something every single time.
Me too, man. It's an
Mhm.
addiction.
Yeah, and I want to support. I just want to support even if I don't really even like the band that much, I still might buy a shirt, or I'll buy like or I'll just buy like a pile of stickers off them and just stick it around, just because I get what they're doing. I do it too, and you know, I know it's tricky, and I know that they need to sell that stuff. So
Right, I do the same, and mostly there's a lot of band who put me on the guest list. So when they do that, I always try, to repay them by buying merch. They don't know that that's the trick because, I'm living well, and I think it's important to support not just the local scene, but band coming our way and everything. And you're right, with everything, price are really getting high, and the gas and everything, it's way more hard for bands. So yeah, if you can do it, and if not, the music, it's everywhere on every platform. Just listen to it.
oh yeah, put the band song on loop when you go to sleep and just let that thing play.
Yeah, for the fucking algorithm, like
Yeah,
broke those algorithm.
just let that thing loops. Let them make that 0.03 cents a stream. You know, but that stuff adds up. So
So when you come to Quebec, I'm gonna know every songs because for now on, for the rest of the year, I'm gonna play like that on Sunday when I go to sleep on loop, and then wake up in the morning and learning all the songs when sleeping.
yeah. Your subconscious will know it all.
Man, thank you so much, Russ. Seriously, I had a blast. Again, I love the project. People go listen to them. We're gonna do a huge special on our radio show, Prescription Punk Rocks. We're gonna wait for you. And of course, if you need anything, Booker's call or email, whatever, just ask. And thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna send all the details to Felix when I'm gonna hear the interview and when I make the interview available on YouTube. But thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ.
Yep.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye bye.